Welcome back to Metropole TV, the first 24-hour business news channel here in Kenya and East Africa. This is The Smart Investor. My name is Ali Khan Sachi, and in the studio I've got two great gentlemen representing the Digital Taxi Forum. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much. Now, we're talking about mobile app taxi platforms, right? That's what the Digital Taxi Forum represents, drivers who operate on these mobile apps. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's correct. Yes. Now, the latest news that we saw today was that you guys are thinking of going on strike from Monday. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct?
Yeah.
And what is driving the reason behind that, firstly? Let's deal with that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
The reason behind the strike, which is to happen on Monday.
Yeah.
Coming Monday.
Across all these platforms?
Yeah, across the platforms, that is the whole of Nairobi.
Yes.
All apps will be switched off. The biggest reason is because we had an engagement last year in July, and out of that engagement we got an MOU which was officiated by the Minister of Transport.
This is Mr. Macharia?
Yeah, that is Honorable Macharia. And unfortunately to date, the MOU had not been honored. Yes.
What did you want in that MOU that has not been honored, that is making you take this drastic action on Monday?
Okay, the MOU mostly covered on issues to do with prices and pricing models.
Yes.
Also in representations and future engagements. That is between the drivers and the opponents.
So let me first start with the first point you made, pricing. I'm a consumer of your products, and I don't even drive my car anymore. I come in an app here, and I go home in an app. So, and I've noticed that the price is extremely competitive, right? I mean, it's pretty frankly, compared to what I used to pay in the old days, it's phenomenal. Now, what are you saying? You're saying that there has been a price compression down, and now it's come to a tipping point, is what you're telling me. You're telling us it's not sustainable.
Yeah, it is actually way far too low to sustain a car, to sustain the driver.
Yes.
And in some cases even to sustain the owner of the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the driver and the owner are not the same people, right? The driver is driving someone else's car. Yeah.
We do have two types of drivers. There are one is driver partner. That's the driver who operates his own car. Then there's the driver who operates a partner's car. A partner is someone who has sought a car.
Yes.
And then he gives the car to someone else to operate it for him or her. Yes.
Now, both you gentlemen are actually drivers, right? You're driving cars.
Yeah.
But you were telling me that you are not allowed to drive. You've been switched off the app.
Yes, actually, what happened is that since we started now this engagement of trying now to empower our drivers and trying now to face the app companies, so that at least
you're trying to get negotiation going, representing the drivers, engaging the app companies.
Yes. Okay. So then what happened was that this was not taken kindly by the app companies.
Yes.
Because they want to deal with individual drivers, because they know it's easy.
So this is what people talk about when they say the gig economy, that the worker does not have much leverage or power over these enormous platform companies. Would you agree with that theory?
True, I agree with it 100%.
Yes.
Such that the app companies like it when you come as an individual.
You have no power.
And that is why they call us independent contractors.
Is that your real title? You're not an employee, you are...
We are not employees, we don't even know who we are. All what we did was that this guy came up with a very, very sweet deals. And we were just enthralled and taken care of. So we went there thinking that this is where it's a life-changing movement.
So, but would you say a couple of years ago, because I remember when Uber and everybody first came, right? I mean, it was like lightning. Suddenly, they'd taken over everything, right? Yes. So, at that time, was it profitable for you people?
Yeah, admittedly, I must
Okay.
admit at that time it was profitable.
It was profitable.
Indeed
Okay.
it was.
But what you're saying is now you've seen prices come lower, lower, lower. And what's the reason those prices have come so much lower? Is it, in your mind, is it because they are trying to push out the other competitors? Or what do you think has driven this price collapse? The consumers are not complaining, I assume.
Yeah, I'll talk about the consumer. But what has happened is that what has occasioned this is the price warfare between the app companies.
Yes.
They have been fighting to retain you, the rider,
Yes.
by giving you low fares without minding our operating costs.
Yes.
Why the rider is very happy is because even if I was to buy this iPhone
Yes.
at 100 shillings,
Yes.
I'll be happy too.
Yes.
But then the cost of building this iPhone is not 100 shillings.
Yes.
So what has happened is that there is a great disconnect between the vehicle owners, the app companies, and the riders, because the riders believe that we drivers are retained by the app companies. We have retainers. Our lives are taken care of.
The consumer is not aware then of your situation, is what you're consumer awareness, is that part of your campaign, is to telling people, look guys, you know.
Yeah, that's the case. The consumers does not know the mode of operation of the app companies, because in most cases the consumer thinks we as the drivers, we are employee of the app companies, or the app companies have purchased the cars themselves and they maintain the cars.
Yes.
Yes. And we want to create that awareness to the consumers that.
So basically, you're bearing the risk, is what you're telling me. You're saying we're taking all the risk. At the same time, we're not able to price. It's somebody else pricing out there, and they've now priced it below where it's break even. It's like, you know, yesterday we were talking about coffee, and it's costing you more to grow coffee than you're getting when you're selling it. So what's the point? Is that what you're telling me is happening here?
Yes, that's the case.
Now, what can you do about it? Because you've just described, you said this 2018, no one's even listened to it. No one's done anything about your MOU. So how are you, you know, beyond going on strike, and strikes can, you know, people can't last on strikes for a long time. The fact of the matter, right? I mean, you know, you need to feed your family. You come home to your wife and say, okay, I'm on strike. She's going to say at one point, it's not working, right?
True.
So how are you gaining, how are you putting your people together, how are you getting leverage, how are you able to go back and do something about this?
Well, for one, there is a precedent. We have a memorandum that we signed with no less a person than the Minister for Transport, Mr. Macharia. We are building on that, and we are going to ask him why sign a document that you could not enforce.
Yes.
So it can just even take a day. Because if Mr. Macharia just decides to enforce this memorandum, we don't even need to go on strike.
Okay.
Number two, we must get what we want.
Yes.
Because once we get what we want, we will now leave strikes, we will leave government, we will now just start engaging with our companies.
So let me ask you, what do you want?
Two issues.
Yes.
One, the current price is unsustainable.
Okay.
It must be
This is price per kilometer.
Per kilometer, the base fare, everything is not sustainable.
Okay.
It must be sustainable.
Yes.
The other thing, because of the intricacies of operating on these apps,
yes,
we want a counter body that will be engaging with the app companies on our issues as drivers.
Okay, so you want a body that can go and engage, so it's not one taxi driver with a huge app company that doesn't even know that you exist, probably. Yeah, but you know what it is, this is a phenomenon that I noticed even in South Africa. People were having issues. I was watching a TV program about New York drivers saying the same thing, that, you know, in New York they were saying the competition between Lyft and Uber had forced the prices too far down. Are we in a new world where the app companies are all powerful and the human being is just, you know, is very, very weak? And if we don't deal with it now, we're just going to be completely overtaken without even realizing it.
Yeah. Okay, you know what fueled that so much? It's the way, it's the laws of the land, you know. The gig economy, it's a new venture in most countries. And, you know, the law is not much clear on how to define those people or how to take care of those people as workers. So they take care of that. They take advantage of that, you see. So you find, now that's how we found ourselves in a very different venture.
Yes.
Where now your investments can be used by someone else to go and enrich themselves without even taking care.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's
that's it. That's the platform economy, Bana. That's the whole thing. You put 1 billion people together, you're really going to take off, right? Maybe the shareholders are being enriched. That's why they love
the
these.
Shareholders are
That's why they love these businesses.
Yes.
Yeah. And you, from your perspective, okay, so Monday you're on strike. Have you seen the minister yet? Are you seeing him next week?
No, what we did is that we visited the ministry when we were delivering this letter.
Yeah, today?
No, it was on Wednesday.
Yes.
Last week, when we were advised, then you do a letter to the minister.
Yes.
We were engaging with the director of transport.
Yes.
Who advised us that this is the cost to go. So we are hoping, this is just called putting pressure. We are hoping that there could be a round table where these issues can be discussed and solved. We also don't, to be honest, we also don't want to go on strike.
Yes.
We are just being forced by circumstances to go on strike.
How many people are we talking about in this gig economy you're describing? How many drivers are there in Kenya, for example, who are under this kind of system? Are we talking 10,000, 20? What are the numbers so people can understand? You know, the size of your community. What, you know, it's not just you two guys, right?
No, far from that. It is not the two of us. In the driver community who do online,
yes,
we are allowed 20,000 drivers.
Yes.
At any given time, the active drivers number from 8,000 to 10,000 at any given day.
Okay, so we're talking 20,000, we're talking people with families, so you're talking about a wider community, maybe 150,000 people who are dependent on this this new gig economy that we're describing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go there. What are the things you'd like to see happen next week? Let's say if somebody said to you, if I say to you, look, you want to come out of there feeling, okay, I've achieved something. What is it? The rate goes up per kilometer, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you want to reduce the margin that these companies are taking off you, or do you accept that the margin is a fair one?
Okay, what we want in particular, first of all, it's the MOU to be honored, because the MOU is very clear on how we are going to be setting the prices. The MOU is very clear. We don't want to set the prices ourselves as the drivers.
Yes.
We don't want the app companies to set the prices as investors.
Yes.
What we want, according to the MOU, it is an independent body to set the prices for us.
Okay.
That's the Automobile Association of Kenya. So if the MOU can be honored.
So you're asking for price fixing?
Yeah, the price fixing, they should be up also.
But you know, in Kenya, price fixing, but where has it worked?
Look.
Where has it worked?
Look, Mr. Khan. We don't want the prices to be fixed.
Yes.
Far from it.
Yes.
Actually, what we are saying is that the rider does not belong to us as drivers.
Yes.
The rider is the responsibility of the app company.
Yeah.
Even if the app company wants to give the rider zero rates,
yes,
we have got no problem. However, the discussion will be the AA of Kenya or any other body has determined that this is the fare that the car should be paid. We expect the app company to pay that fare to the drivers.
Yes.
Not necessarily to increase prices for the riders.
Yes.
But for themselves, if this is what has been discussed
yes,
by professionals, then that is what will be implemented for ourselves, for the app companies, and for every other operator.
So you want fairness and certainty.
Exactly. That if you take a loan,
yes,
you are able then to know that in 3 years' time,
yes,
I'll have cleared my loan without having to sweat or without having to fight. But then I can wake up, go online, do my business, pay my obligations, and then go back home.
Yes.
That's just what we're asking
Yes.
for. Very, very simply.
Yeah.
Yes.
Understand.
Thank you.
So at the moment, what we're saying is it's the app company that's able to set the price, and they're able to set whatever price they theoretically want to set. I mean, why couldn't theoretically couldn't they just say zero? And that's potentially they could do that, right?
Exactly. But now what they do is, I'll use a term, ex cathedra.
Yes.
They issue edicts to us.
Yes.
Going forward, we are not going to take any more edicts from them.
Yes.
And what they have been holding us upon is the online industry has been doing something we call a conveyor belt.
Yes.
those people outside wanting to get in.
They are relying on them because then they can
Yeah.
say to you guys, see ya,
Yeah,
we got a whole bunch
exactly.
so you've become like dispensable.
Yeah,
That's the one.
But my first boss told me, he said, everybody's dispensable, Ali Khan, don't think you're not dispensable.
No, okay, however, even if you are dispensable,
Yes.
then at least even if you are chasing us,
Yes.
yeah, do it like a gentleman.
Yeah.
Don't just ride roughshod over us.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
And then obviously in your case in particular, don't play unfair on you, right? I mean, if you're representing a bunch of people, they should be negotiating with you as well, right? Not trying to cut you off and send you to the Netherlands.
That's the position. What has happened is that whenever we start these engagements,
Yes.
because they want the justification of saying, David, you are not our driver.
Yes.
So who are you representing?
Mm.
So then they
So this way they've
system.
taken away your locus, right? So
Yes.
they're saying to you, who's David?
Yeah,
he's not
so
on our
he-
system.
he's
Where's
not-
David?
yeah, he's not one of us.
How does he know about how the company operates?
Yes.
He does not drive with us.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, it's so simple. You try an engagement, you are chased away from the app.
Yeah.
So you cannot even give any information regarding a particular platform.
Wow.
Yeah, because you are chased away.
And this
Yeah, that's the case.
interesting point you're making.
Yeah.
Lucy.
But I'd like to take you back
Yes.
just a bit.
Yes.
When you said about price fixing,
Yes.
remember
Mm.
there is a body called the Energy Regulatory Commission.
Yes.
When the petroleum companies started doing hanky-panky
Yes.
on Kenyans,
Yes.
the government gave a body
Yes.
to protect Kenyans. We online also can get that kind of body.
And that's
That-
what you want.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not to fix prices.
Yes.
But just to see
To
this is the cost of
balance
business.
your leverage as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
right?
to have a leverage, yeah.
Because otherwise you're just going to be sent, say, see you later, and a bunch of other people are going to come in because we have an unemployment problem here,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. That is why we are also now saying these things, and going forward, we will not leave the negotiating table without something tangible that we can hold upon.
Does the government, this is a new phenomenon, right? And I've been in Kenya all these years. I was born here. This suddenly came out of nowhere, and boom, everybody was on it, right? Is the government up to speed with the issues that you're talking about? Whether it's your employment rights, which don't seem to be that big, as I can understand it. You're not going to get a pension, are you? Right? You're in this. Are they? When you're going in to discuss, do they get what you're talking about?
Well, they do get, because unless they close their ears, they know that there is something.
Yes.
All what they have been doing is, there is a term I can use called laissez-faire.
Yes.
That's what the government has adopted.
Yes.
And it will be up to ourselves
Yeah.
to make sure that our government listens to us. Unless you want to add something.
Okay, something else also. We get confidence because we do have a government. That's why we do everything without fear. I do
Yes.
invest in these platforms,
Yes.
in these platforms without fear, knowing my interest will be taken care of.
Yes.
So to us, we go to the government to tell them to do their work.
Yes.
Yes, here we are hurting. You need to look up into this. Yeah, you need to study this matter. So as Kenyan citizens, we do also have a right.
Yes.
The way they do have a right as investors,
Yeah.
also as Kenyan citizens, and also as workers in this country, we do also have a right.
My last question is, we're bending everyone together, right, in this platform economy, app economy. Is everybody the same, or would you say there's some that are behaving better, or some that are or is it just one and the same?
Okay, what I can say in particular, the rock ones, we can say they tries to, to mind.
Yes.
Yeah, they are a little bit mindful.
Yes.
Of our, of our investments, and also they try so much to take care of us. But due to the undercuttings and the price wars, you see, you find sometimes they also fight to remain afloat. You see, due to competition matters. You see, so they must fight, and while fighting, they also undercut.
Yes.
Yeah, we understand them here because they must remain in business.
Yeah.
But they must do it at the end of the day. So that's why we want a leverage.
Yes.
We want an entry point where we can say, you cannot go below this.
Yes.
You see?
Yeah.
So let everyone play at that level. Yes.
So if I may just
Yes.
add for something, please.
Yes.
if you allow me to name names,
Yes.
and I can.
Yes.
Little Cab has been very, very, very supportive of us. Kamal Budabati has
Yes.
been very, very, very supportive of us as drivers.
Yes.
And he even pays rebate
Yes.
from his pocket to the drivers.
Mm.
Maramoja
Yes.
has also been very, very, very supportive. In fact, they charge 60 shillings per kilometer. But they are finding it very, very, very difficult to swim against the current.
You can't swim against the current, right? Because who's going to book that if they can get it for 40 shillings?
Exactly.
Yes.
So it is also our responsibility as drivers to protect the apps
Yes.
that do not exploit us.
That's a good point. Thank you for making that point. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope that you managed to resolve these issues without going into a long strike, and I hope everyone understands where you're coming from and looks to support what you're trying to say. And I think it's really fascinating to speak to two gentlemen who are passionate and who are actually working at lobbying at the government at the same time fighting on the behalf of 20,000 drivers. So really a great conversation, and I appreciated you both coming in today.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
A pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Nashukuru
Thank you.
sana.
Okay.
This was The Smart Investor. My name is Ali Khan Sachu. This was on Metropole TV, first 24-hour business news channel here in Kenya and East Africa. And what a fascinating conversation and a deep insight into the gig economy here in Kenya and in Africa. Thank you for watching.
So, all right, Kariobangi Sharks, the face of Kenyan football currently, you know. Your screen is not working.
It's working.
Oh, it's working.
I'll make you something. So intro tunaanza hapa then.
Okay. What do you normally say in your intros? Who's going to open the show?
You're the lead.
Good.
It's the home of money and sport, Metropole Sports Center.
The Metropole. Welcome to Metropole Sports Center. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage, and good night. Is it okay to say good night or good evening?
It is okay to say good
night, isn't it?
Yeah, because after this people are going to sleep,
Yes,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Yes. I think naturally it's your time. Is it because we never done this together?
I think we've never done this together, so
Yes.
I think people are going to understand. But my name is National Ano. You're watching Metropole Sports Center.
All right.
And today we are standing in for Ngarwa Kamuyu and Sharon Alela.
You know, it's actually very interesting when you have to tell somebody that you're standing in for them, because what if I don't perform to that level?
To that standard. There's always that, and the audiences are usually very harsh.
Yes.
On the people that are standing in for them.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but we hope it's going to be a good show.
I
right?
hope it's going to be a good show. Guess
Okay.
what? People just don't know this, that me and you are Arsenal fans. So in the same problems year
Yeah.
in, year out. So I'm just hoping that things are going to be fine.
And that
People-
means
Yes.
whichever discussion we're going to have here, it's going to favor Arsenal by all ways.
I'm telling you.
and means.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but on the other side, we have our guest who's an Manchester United fan.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And because guess what? This evening or this night, you know, I'm still guessing. Is it this evening
You
or
still
this
haven't
night?
got it. I thought it was good night. It's good night, Simba.
All right, this evening we are going to get joined by one of the most valuable players in KPL, and guess what? It comes from Kariobangi Sharks, and if you know, they just did something great just the other day. Do we say it? I mean, everybody knows about it.
Kariobangi Sharks did a good job. I
They
mean,
beat Everton, isn't it?
playing against Everton and standing out. I think the most interesting thing in that whole game and the whole of that tournament was
Yes.
the support and the number of people that turned up for that particular game.
All right,
it was
I
a
know.
lot of people.
I know you're a very specific guy when it comes to numbers and money. Can we
Yes.
talk about it?
It was exactly 64,000 people. 64,000 people. Something that is not usually witnessed in the Premier League, in the Kenya Premier League.
Yes.
I mean, if all the games that are being played are anything to go by, then you realize there's like 3,000, 5,000 people, but this one was 64,000. I remember the last time we had that number of people in studio, that number of people in the stadium, was when we had the athletics competition a while back at Kasarani. So that's a good sign.
Guess what? Guess what? Now all the people went to celebrate. Now there were fears that they're going to watch Kariobangi Sharks lose. But as the competition went by, they started supporting the game because they realized Kariobangi Sharks is actually really good.
A good team. People went there because of entertainment. But I think in between the game, people started changing, and then it was now more for like, let's see who actually wins this. And we're going to talk about the celebrations that people had. We had some of the weirdest celebrations in that game. I mean, there was falling, there was the faking.
That was the faking injury.
I think that was the most popular one.
That was the most popular one.
That was the most popular one.
Nation, before we just get there, did you see the look on the faces of the Everton players who just didn't understand what was going on?
They were like, "What the hell is
this going on?"
I mean, they're used to having celebrations on the field,
thing.
But it was, I think, they didn't expect to go this extra.
It actually did scare some of them.
Yeah. That's
all right, some of these stories is what we shall be bringing you tonight here on Metropole Sports Center. Guess what? You can join us live. Aren't we live on YouTube?
We are live on YouTube, so even on Facebook. So for anybody who's interested in tuning in, you can go to Metropole TV YouTube page, Facebook page. We are streaming in all those platforms live.
What's your hashtag, Nation?
My hashtag
Metropole Sports Center.
Metropole Sports Center.
Guess what? Talk to us. And why you need to talk to us this night, wow, it's interesting to say night, is that we have the most valuable player 2018-2019 KPL in the studio this night. Guess what, Nation?
Yes.
Let's get the conversation rolling, isn't it? Yes. What are we starting with?
So let's send us your feedback. If there are any questions that you'd like to ask our guest in studio today, keep on sending them on the hashtag Metropole Sports Center.
Yes. All right. Let's start therefore. We do know that you've been watching AFCON, and if you stopped watching it since the time Kenya dropped out, I'm so sorry, but it continues. Now, while we are at the quarter-final stage, where we have 4 teams, that is specifically Algeria, isn't
Nigeria,
it? Yes.
Algeria, Tunisia, and Senegal. And the fixture that, as it stands, is that Nigeria is supposed to be facing Algeria. Talk about rhyming. Nigeria, Algeria.
I know.
Then Tunisia is going to face Senegal. It's a very interesting thing. I mean, if you look at it, it's a game that pits North Africa against West Africa.
They say perfect match, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's a perfect final.
So quick one, Simba.
Yes.
So which team are you rooting for? Nigeria, Algeria?
This is what I'm saying. I'm not so sure because I have Iwobi playing for Nigeria, and Eneacho, I know Kelly is also playing for Nigeria. But the thing is this, I'm not so sure whether I want Nigeria to win because I'm so bitter about Iwobi being an Arsenal player and is not doing so much so far for Arsenal. So the thing is this though, I want Nigeria to win.
Okay, my bet also will be on Nigeria. Tunisia versus Senegal, my bet will be on Senegal.
So what sort of final do you envision?
I envision a North and a West final. That's what I
That's
see.
what you actually say?
Yeah, that's what I actually is. Because I've been watching the Algeria game and they're not really a team to write off. You know? Yeah. Going by, forget about the penalties that they have. I mean, at least for most of the matches that they've played, they've tried as much as possible to finish the game within 90 minutes, you know, because if you go to the extra time and then you get to the penalty shootout, it's really unpredictable.
Yes.
I mean, that has been the undoing for most of the teams in the AFCON. Look at teams like DRC. Personally, I was rooting for DRC.
You are rooting for DRC. And it's interesting. It's interesting that you should be talking about the teams that you're rooting for. But I just want us to go straight to some of the shocks that we experienced the other day. Other than the shock of Magufuli asking 55 million Tanzanians as well, they couldn't find one representative to push the team away. Guess what? Did you say they sacked the coach?
Yeah, I saw immediately the team got back to Tanzania. They were like, "Yo, so we are not going to be having you anymore on this team," which is very interesting.
Did you like it actually?
No, I didn't. I mean, I think the problem we have either in sports or in any kind of art that we have outside here is usually people expect instant coffee.
which doesn't happen in sports.
Which doesn't happen in sports.
Sports involves talent.
It takes time.
Isn't it?
Even if you take some of the Premier League teams that are really performing well, let's take for example Liverpool. They won they won the Champions League the other day.
Yes.
But people forget to look at the fact that before they got to the Champions League, it was a rebuilding process.
Actually, they had to wait for more than 10 years for another trophy.
And that's sports for you. So if you ask me, I'll be like, I'll say, I mean, even though Tanzania didn't play a good game as probably the president had expected, but it would have been more better if they would have sat down and tried to understand why didn't the team perform.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
you see, here's another interesting dimension in this particular issue, because sometimes when such things happen, they tend to forget what have they given to help improve that sport.
That's another thing, isn't it?
They haven't asked themselves. So as the relevant stakeholders in this particular sport, how much money have we invested, or how much resources have we given this particular coach to ensure that
to actually push this team to that level?
Yeah.
But we've seen coaches drop out every time they fail to win something.
Yeah, even in Kenya, it's really common. I'm sure
Yes.
you've seen it. You go for a tournament, you lose. Nani has been fired. So I hope it changes.
I hope it changes.
It
So let's talk
changes
about the
soon.
shocks that we've seen in AFCON this year, as we look forward to exactly the drama we're going to see in the quarterfinals. Egypt out. Nobody saw that. Masala is out.
I didn't expect that. Personally, I expected Egypt to sail through.
Yes.
I mean, the first time I looked at this fixture, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Egypt versus South Africa, I was like, this one is an instant sail through for Egypt.
I want to ask you this question, therefore.
Yes.
We did have these players that everybody was looking at, when we talk about face value for AFCON 2019. Would you say that us missing Masala sort of takes face value out of the competition?
Not really. I'll say if I look at Egypt, I think it was more of a team effort.
Yes.
I mean, even if Mosala hadn't scored, there was somebody who at least made an effort to getting to the goal. So it wasn't like,
and Egypt have been actually strong when it comes to continental football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about another shock, and I want you to tell me whether this was a shock or not. Let's talk about Cameroon, Nigeria, as expected.
Cameroon, Nigeria, expected Cameroon to sail through that one because they're defending champions. But I think a while back I had people talk about the jinx of the winners. You see, like once you win,
you pretty much are going to go very far the following year.
Yes, same thing that happened to Germany in the last World Cup.
In the World Cup, isn't it?
You're expecting Germany to probably even get to the quarterfinals
because they are the defending champions, isn't it? But now when it comes to the real competition,
it's
you don't expect so much,
the opposite,
isn't it?
Which one were you expecting to win? Cameroon versus Nigeria?
Pretty much. I was rooting out for Nigeria, isn't it? It won't be there. I mean, we don't have to go very far. Okay. All right, let's talk about Uganda, Senegal, as expected.
As expected, Uganda, Senegal. Senegal is a pretty strong team.
Yes, and I wanted to ask you something about this: the contribution of Sadio Mane in this Senegal. Do you think he has what it takes for us to call him the player for the competition? He already has 3 goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he missed a couple sitters in there. 2 penalties that is not missed. They have been defended.
They've been saved, right?
They've been saved.
One by Matasi, the other one by Onyango.
Yes. Would you say
Uganda.
that this will take some points out of him?
Not really. I don't think so, because I mean, missing penalties happen to even the best of the players that we know in the world out there.
Yes.
So I'll say it's a matter of bad luck, I guess. Yeah, but it doesn't really it can't be used as a yardstick for saying this is Sadio Mane's performance. Well. I mean, look at this. He's from the English Premier League, from the Champions League, and he stood out. I mean, he was among the top scorers in
He was actually the top scorer, isn't it, with 22 goals?
Yes, with alongside Aubameyang
and Mosala.
So I wouldn't say that penalties are a way of writing off players' performance, because it happens even to the best players out there.
Okay. Somebody would like to disagree with you on that, but I want to ask you this question that we're going into now. Now, if you look at Senegal, are they going to really make it finally?
I think they're going to make it to the final.
I think they're going to make it to the final, isn't it? They're the teams that we expect to be in the final.
Yeah. And also an interesting dynamic that has come out in the AFCON tournament is the teams that you expect to sail through don't. The teams that you didn't expect They're there.
Talk about South Africa.
South Africa. Look at Madagascar.
Look at Madagascar,
debutants, right?
isn't it?
Yeah, it's their
they're
debut.
already there.
Yeah.
Actually, when you talk about Senegal and Sadio Mane, you have to look at the Sadio Mane before Liverpool. This is a man who used to be an average striker, the 15, 16 goal striker, 10, 12 goal striker, but he seems to have found his mojo when he crossed, and now he started getting managed by Klopp. Things are really clicking for this man, and some guys are saying, look, 2019, 2020,
it's going to be a big...
It's going to be for him.
It's going to be curious to see how it goes.
Since we've talked about Madagascar, DRC, Congo, let's talk about Algeria. Guinea, as expected.
As expected, of course.
But Kenya's really didn't root for Algeria, isn't it?
I think it's because they beat us and they bundled us out of the competition. Sorry, fellow Kenyans, we also feel your pain. But I know Kenyans are really bitter. Automatically, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like how Algeria's game is composed. You'd actually see that this is a team that has people who understand exactly what they're supposed to do with the ball.
Yes.
I mean, look at their games. You'll analyze it and then you sit back and say, this is actually like watching a Premier League match or a La Liga match between Barcelona and probably a team down there in the league. Is it Chelsea, isn't it? Yeah, I'm telling you, the game is really standardized, and that's why Kenya didn't stand a chance. Well, could have actually considered more, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, can we cross over to the next issue, which I want you to take us through?
Yeah, the Safari Rally. So we had the Safari Rally happening this past weekend. The Safari Rally that was happening this past weekend was actually a candidate event for Kenya to be considered into the World Racing Championship, WRC.
Yes.
That means the whole world will probably have a segment of it happening in Kenya. So there were FIA officials that came to Kenya. The president actually came to Kenya. The FIA president came to just see what measures Kenya had done. And one thing I liked about the Safari Rally was the fact that people actually went there. People showed up because, I mean, growing up, I used to listen to hear talks of Safari Rally, you know. Yeah, so it's something that happened, and at the end of it all, in total, guess how many crews participated? We had a total of 51 crews participating in the Safari Rally. And this year's winner was Baldev Chaga, a common name in the world of rally championships, and he was navigated by Ravi Soni. So I hope next year we're gonna have the same edition, and we hope that Kenya is actually considered and accepted into the WRC tournament. Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to take Safari Rally where it used to be in the golden days when this sport attracted multitudes of people to go watch?
I'm hoping we'll get there.
You're hoping we'll get there?
I'm hoping we'll
What do you
get
think really fell in between, National?
In between, because if you look at the way, you know, putting up an event like Safari Rally is not an event for the weak-hearted. It actually takes a lot in terms of planning, resources, political stability. That is a key thing, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you look at over the years, we've had mismanagement, corruption probably, being a major thing that affects sporting and any sort of arts in the country. So I would say there was the lack of resources. There was a bit of strains from one point or another. That is where it kind of dipped.
Yes.
But as a Kenyan, I'm particularly so happy that we are getting the Safari Rally back, and I hope, as you mentioned, we get back to that level.
Exactly where it was, isn't it? It was a big thing.
Yeah.
All right, National, I just want us to cross over to another issue that's happening in the sports arena across the world. Now, if you didn't know, we just concluded the World Cup. That is the Women World Cup 2019. Guess who? US retained it, isn't it? So, National, I just want to get you feeling. A nation retaining World Cup. It never happens. What does it make you feel?
I mean, for me, as a person who's enthusiastic about
football
sports,
and exactly what goes on in under football,
one of the main things that make me watch sport is unpredictability.
That's the way it is, isn't it?
Like
that's
when I watch,
it's a good thing that you're saying about unpredictability in the sport. That's why when you talk about VAR, I get a bit nervy about VAR. I don't want it. I don't want it. Let's just manage sport the way it is. And so when you tell me that somebody is going to retain World Cup, that's when I feel, what is really going on here?
There's something questionable. Case in point, let's look at the Bundesliga.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, every single season, season in, season out, usually. I mean, by the time the tournament starts,
we do know,
of course,
unless really something happens.
Yeah, of course, it's gonna be.
Let's talk about La Liga as well. I mean, we do know it's the top
we do
three,
know,
isn't it?
Of course, Barcelona has to be somewhere there.
Yes.
You know, Premier League. I like
how it is, though.
Yeah.
I like how it is, though.
Yeah.
Because even this year, we just didn't know who. Up to the last game, isn't it?
At some point, you were like, Manchester United are going, and Manchester City are going to win this league.
And then Liverpool are going to win
this league.
Let's not even go that far. Let's talk about the top 4 race. Arsenal, that you and me support dearly. We actually thought we were going to make it, and we lost it by 1 point.
Yeah.
Talk me about it.
I remember before the tournament concluded, we were having this conversation, and our assumption was like, I remember how we were trying to encourage each other.
Well, Arsenal is really going to be there. Yeah. And actually, Chelsea didn't know they were going to be in the top 4 up to the last game.
Yes. That's
for me, that's football, isn't it?
And the same thing, unpredictability is the same thing that I like that is happening in Formula 1 right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For the longest time, for Formula 1 enthusiasts,
it has been for a couple of years. Let's talk about 5 years down the line.
It has been Lewis Hamilton, isn't it?
Hamilton.
But at least there are people that are coming out. Like there's the Austrian Grand Prix that happened like a week or so. Mm-hmm. Max Verstappen is the one who won the Austrian Grand Prix,
which is a good thing, and you saw the reaction.
Actually, you could have seen the reaction of people. They were like,
"Finally, we got a sport we can watch."
It's not Lewis
This
Hamilton.
whole dominating thing is not really that good when it comes to sport, isn't it? Nation, there's something that I really want us to talk about. That Donald Trump and the U.S. captain. Guess what? Even before they went on to win, the captain said, "I don't think we'll go to White House if Donald Trump invites us." Nation, guess the response. Just tell me that. I want to play this.
Trump was like, I haven't invited you guys yet. So what are you guys talking about?
Guess what? They won it. What was Donald Trump's response?
He didn't even
For me, that's the best thing actually off field that happened in the Women's World Cup this year. When we had this spat between the US captain and Donald Trump, where they kept on going at each other. The first one was no, actually, the response was, she said, "Look, we won't come if you invite us." Then Donald Trump says, "No, I think you're wrong. You should focus on winning it." Well, they won it. Donald Trump said, "We didn't even invite you."
Which is a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it.
Considering the fact that they brought the country popularity, and it was a source of fame for them. Which made even the New York mayor to mount a celebration for them in the streets of New York.
It was a really good thing. The inspiration that guys are talking about, what these ladies have done to women and sport in the world is a really, really big thing. But
you know, Simba, when I was watching that whole celebration and everything, one thing that stood out for me, and I hope the relevant stakeholders are watching this and are listening to this, I hope we might get to a level where we take sports as our source of national pride. You know, you see how in the streets of New York everything came to a standstill,
and everybody
when the US ladies team came. That is what we expect.
You know, when we're talking about World Cup just ended the other day for the men's football, it's coming home this time round. It's coming home was really a real thing.
It was a big thing.
Nation, we're not done with World Cup now. Alex Morgan, the famous teacup celebration. When she did it, it was quite a big stir, and you might not know it, so I'm going to gesture exactly how the teacup celebration is done. So for those people who have a teacup, is it like this?
Like this?
Is it like this? You gotta take it from here.
Oh, okay.
You gotta take it from here.
Let me try learn. From a national fan to a national fan, right?
Just you gotta feel the drive. Then after that, your hand has to be straight, and then you take it like this. You go. Nation, give me some history into that, man.
There were people who were watching that game and sort of read a political angle to it. Maybe if I take you back to the political story behind it. In December 16, 1773, there was a protest against the imposition of tea tax in the US, in Boston, in what is commonly known as the Boston Tea Party. So at the time, it was a sign of people were protesting against England, because at the time they were colonizers. You know, the US was colonized by England. So at the time, the Boston Tea Party was sort of kind of a protest against England, you know. So when Morgan did that, people were like, okay, there's a political
actually a political move into that.
because it was the US against England.
Yes. Now, Nation, guess what? You know, I know the response that Morgan gave. So, is it true that on your show you can actually say what somebody said and they won't pin anything to you? Can I say it?
Say it.
Good. This is what Morgan said. I don't understand why you're making this a big thing. Because if you cross over to men's football, I mean, they do all sorts of things. They even touch their... It's a word that starts with an S. I don't think our managing editor would like
Our
me to
director
say
will
that.
shut us
Yeah,
off.
I know.
Yeah.
We're not going to say
So
it.
we are trying to be considerate here, so we won't mention. But probably if you catch us after the show, we're going
We will tell you, isn't it?
The full words, every
For
single
what?
bit of
But
it.
all I like to say is that congratulations to that history writing team. Maintaining World Cup is not something that we normally see in men's football, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know once you come back, you're going to talk to me about the contribution of women football in terms of payments and all that. I'm just going to hold you that, Nation.
Yeah, we're gonna delve into the whole money, how much later
all right.
on.
So lastly, on the things that you need to know this night, I'm actually getting to understand this whole thing about this night.
I mean, for the first time, I
Yes.
think you're doing well.
I'm
so
really
far.
doing okay?
You're doing
all
well.
right. Nation, make sure you invite me again because I like to talk about Arsenal next week. Anyway, now for those who are in Kenya and you like to bet into sports, things are not looking so good for you. Or as of today, you need to change your company because we do understand that the betting licensing board, isn't it, has actually stopped licensing some of the 27 farms as of yesterday. Now, we do have a list of 5 that have been given a clean bill to continue running their businesses. Now, Safaricom was actually ordered to cancel the licenses as of yesterday. Safaricom reacted by writing to the board and telling them, you need to tell us exactly what this means. Do we stop? Because some of these accounts have money and they're active, and we understand that some of you have been betting exclusively for AFCON. Now, as of tomorrow, you need to log onto Metropole TV Sports Center so we can tell you exactly which companies have been given a clean bill of health. And Nation,
Yes.
this is something that has come from so far.
Yeah.
On another show that I'm not allowed to mention here,
Yeah.
I can tell you the headlines that have gone there. Do you know there is a bill that says if you gamble on your phone, you're going to get fined 10 million shillings?
That's a lot of money.
Do you know there is another bill that says we should have an age limit for gambling in this country? Do you know there are 2 numbers that we're talking about here? The government says 76% of youth in the country are into betting. But guess what? 76% of the youth means that's more than half of the Kenyan population, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then they come and tell you 7 million Kenyans are into betting. There's another big number that I know you're going to get into.
Yeah.
In 2018, they made 200 billion shillings in terms of profit. But guess what? Only 4 billion came back to the country in terms of taxes. I'm telling you, it's really big.
I think we are not going to end this conversation about betting firms anytime soon.
Yes.
Because if you look at the list of the teams that have been named as given a clean bill of health by the BCLB,
Most of
the largest
Kenyan
betting
best,
the largest betting firm has not been given a clean bill of
And
health,
that's
which
Sports Pesa.
begs the question of what next for teams that are being sponsored by
Sponsorships
Sports Pesa.
in the country as well. And if
a
you
good
do,
example is Kariobangi Sharks.
isn't it?
Yeah. So
And
what's-
that game happened because of Sport Pesa.
Yeah.
So this is
So
exactly what
what's-
we're waiting to see,
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
what next?
All right, something to think about as we end this conversation. I'd like also to make you think that, look, betting, the license for running the business in Kenya was actually cancelled some time back. But this decision was reverted by the High Court. Something for you to think about. Nation, we're just about to take a short break. What comes next?
What comes next? We're going to have the interview with Kariobangi Sharks forward, Eric Kapaito. He's going to talk about a lot of sports. That's all I can say.
All right, you're watching us Metropole Sports Center, the home of money and sports. We take a short break. Once we come back, the Kariobangi Sharks man 101.